Today's episode, we start a podcast.
We can get started with this. So we can just start off by introducing ourselves, letting people know who we are and what we do. I am Dave. You can call me Dave, basically. I'm not even sure what to go by with this shit. But anyway, just call me Dave for now. I'm a graphic designer. I am a recording artist. I'm a father. I'm a tech enthusiast, Apple enthusiast. I have a day job, I have a family, and I'm just all about the positive vibes, staying motivated, and just kind of helping people get their message out there, and just encouraging all of those who have dreams and who have just ideas and ambitions just to fulfill. And that's pretty much all you need to know about me.
All right, I am Chris.G. I am a serial entrepreneur, a tech enthusiast. I used to be a recording artist, and now my main focus is developing technology for creatives. I just want to develop things that can help creatives create faster, create better, and create in a way that's not too expensive. I'm just driven by being able to make tech that makes it easier for everyone that's like me to do it, and kind of just democratize that whole thing. But that's me in a nutshell.
Dope. And we're creating this podcast because we wanted to kind of create a platform and a forum for the discussions for the discussions around tech, how it affects us socially, how it affects us culturally. We also want that representation, so that's also a huge factor in this. And also, just I was watching this, just watching like random YouTube clips and things like that. I just kind of stay motivated, whatever. It's really important, like the people that you have in your circle, whether that be us, you listening to content from us on a regular basis. It all helps having people that are on the same wavelength as you, to encourage the creation and just whatever side hustle, whatever you got going. You need people in your circle that are doing that, so you can have that energy and keep going. Because when you isolate yourself, just human beings, we are tribal, like we are. It's ugly sometimes, it's beautiful sometimes, but you just have to accept we are tribal, and we get energy from each other. And it's a survival mechanism. Like back in the day, you get outed from the tribe and you die. Like that's it. That was the end of it. So I want to kind of create that tribe here, that atmosphere to just talk about tech, talk about entrepreneurship, talk about side hustles. And yeah, man, it's a big thing. Another thing,
I think that I'm really excited.
Yeah, go for it.
Go ahead. I was gonna say I'm really excited to do this with you, just because we're both like really passionate about tech, fatherhood, side hustles, and we both have a unique perspective on a lot of this, even though we have similar backgrounds. Especially like this. I'm doing this right now using my second Apple device ever, whereas you're the Apple enthusiast. So there's definitely going to be some different perspectives that are going to be shown, and just different ways of thinking about tech. So this is going to be super interesting, just with the two of us doing this.
Yeah, it's going to be super. Like this guy is like hardcore Android. I'm hardcore Apple. So I'm going to represent for the ones he's going to represent for his. But at the end of the day, we're going to come together on this, because at the end of the day, it's all about advancing society, just advancement in general. I just feel like technology, especially for our culture, except just for the world, but especially for our culture, is the great equalizer. And the more we get into it, the more we utilize it properly. I mean, it's been the key to all the entrepreneurial explosions over the last like 10 years, especially our generation. Like technology is huge. So yeah, we definitely have to talk about it. So with that being said, you sent me the article earlier about Netflix. Now this isn't necessarily entrepreneurial, but it's in tech. Netflix is getting into gaming. What do you think about it?
Man, it's super interesting. It's like you see all these companies that are entering this gaming space. If it's like Amazon with theirs called Luna, or we have xCloud. I actually have an xCloud membership and a Google Stadia membership. It's just a lot of companies entering into space. And I'm just wondering where this is going to go. I think Netflix kind of has a little an extra leg up because they already did have the mailing service. So you got these people out in the Midwest that aren't going to be able to really stream games effectively. They can still send discs. So it's going to be interesting. I'm wondering what's going to happen in the future and just how they're going to leverage the systems they already have in place to like send CDs and also stream. Because I mean, that's one of the number one things anyone streams anywhere is obviously Netflix. And I can tell you my 4K comes in crispy. So I'm wondering how they're going to, work on the gaming and if it's going to be just as good.
All right. So I'm going to push back on a few things. So with Netflix, they're a huge company. They're out here. They're getting money. They're getting bank. But a lot of people with money, like Google, like Amazon to a certain extent, have said, hey, video games, very profitable. Let's do it. And the results have not been like that of a Sony, a Nintendo, or an Xbox. No one yet. None of the new people, and now we're adding Netflix to it. None of them have cracked the code yet, and I think they have the infrastructure. We've seen some of their content from their streaming apps that have like that game feature where it's like it's a movie, but you're really just blasting over to another. They have to continue to find new ways to make money. I get that, but the video game thing, like you need the studios, like you need those studios, you need the IP, and the video game thing is not just a money thing. It's an art. Like these people have to be good. Like I see that Microsoft is out here just buying studios left and right. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I think they've got over 20 studios now. I got a question for you though. So actually, when I was looking at that article, they more so compared it to an Apple Arcade. Do you have one of those memberships? And
yeah, I have Apple Arcade.
So do you like it? Is it useful? Do you think if you had something like that from Netflix, where they have some like AAA games, it would work as well? Or
so that's the thing with Apple. Apple is selling one of the most popular game. Like if you look at the most popular gaming device, it might really be like an iPhone or something like
for
that.
Sure.
So for them to get into it, they're selling this premium hardware. And yeah, there are a lot of developers who are signing up just because it's Apple to put their games on. A little while ago, I saw Devil May Cry is getting dropped on the Apple Store. Man. So I'll say this. Am I a huge fan of Apple Arcade? Absolutely not. Like I play real video games.
Oh man, are you drawing a line in the sand right there?
I play real video games. I will say that I played Grit on my iPad Pro with a PlayStation controller. That was awesome. It's insane. So the hardware is there. They need studios, but this is Apple. They're not necessarily making all of their bank on Apple Arcade. Apple Arcade has a couple of gems, but honestly, it's great for my kid because he's young. He's going to be 5 soon, and he understands the concept of apps and things like that. When he goes to try to buy an app, he obviously needs my permission. But with Apple Arcade, because he's part of the family plan, he can just press an app, he can download it, and if it's something new and it's cool, he can play. So that aspect of it's cool, and it's like included in all the other things that I'm getting from Apple for my cloud storage, the Fitness Plus, all of that. So it's bundled really well. Is it something that I would tell someone, oh man, you need to get Apple Arcade? I can't give it to you. I love Apple, but nah, I can't really give them a.
But Apple Arcade,
you'd be better off spending that money on Xbox, like on Xbox Now or some Game Pass, what have you.
So I know the article, like they compared it to that, but Apple Arcade, they're not streaming games. That's really like more comparable to like a Game Pass, where you're downloading it, and you just have access to these because you have a subscription, right?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Our Apple Arcade is they're just Apple Arcade is just like a premium section or tab in the App Store that allows you to play games. None of it's streaming. They're not streaming at all. You're playing these games. You're just subscribed on a monthly basis, like $6 a month or whatever, to have access to continue playing these games.
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I'm really wondering how they're going to do it, and it really is going to come down to the latency. I can tell you that when I play games on xCloud, even I had a good experience playing Guacamelee 2. That's like a platformer, so that was cool. But it was absolutely god awful trying to play Horizon.
Yep.
For like the driving simulator. Oh my God, man! Like that. Like I would turn and then the car would turn like 10 seconds later.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm wondering if anyone's going to crack that code anytime soon. I just feel like Netflix, they just have to have that kind of infrastructure in place. But you know what though? Now that I think about it, doesn't Netflix run on Amazon's web services? So how was your experience with Luma?
I couldn't tell you. Okay, so I've had Luma. Luna. I purchased it. I tried it. I returned it. Like it's not for me.
Oh man.
And I don't know. I haven't. So I mean, I really want to hear about Game Pass from you to just see if maybe there's some light at the end of the tunnel, because the idea of streaming makes sense. Luna was glitchy. I have Ryzen FiOS. I got a lot of floors in my house, so maybe that, you know what I mean? Like, I played it, I tried it out, and it was just too glitchy for me. It was just, why am I going to do this? Okay, first it's glitchy. Two, the games that are being provided, like they're not, as I would say, real video games. Like they're not, I'm not getting anything new. There was like, it's like, okay, I can play Assassin's Creed Valhalla here, or I can just go and get it if I really wanted it. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool. I love the idea. The execution's not quite there. Internet in your home, like if you've already invested in the infrastructure and you have great internet at home, then maybe that'll make that difference for you. But so far, I haven't seen it. Now, I am a subscriber to PlayStation Now. I have PlayStation Now. My PlayStation 4 and my PlayStation 5, because my son, he plays the 4, I play the 5. We can't, I bull-guard my consoles. Anyway, PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 are directly connected into my router via Ethernet cable. Zero latency. When I want to stream a game, it works. It just works. And so I have hope in the streaming future as far as gaming is concerned, but via Wi-Fi, I have not seen it work really well yet. Directly in, it works. But then if it's directly jacked in, like, what's the freaking point?
All right, so this is
just a large library of games that you wouldn't have purchased, but now you have access to.
This is probably going to expose me for how deep I am in the Google ecosystem. Okay. But they actually sent me a free Stadia controller, like the pro level one. Okay. And that was the only actual like good experience I had streaming games. Okay. So I actually played the demo of Immortals Phoenix Rising. It was actually made by one of the folks that made one of the Assassin's Creed. I think they made the like the Rome. I can't remember the name of that one. But anyway, they also made this game, and it streamed like very well. It was awesome. Like it made me want to go buy the game. I actually ended up, after playing the demo from there, going to buy it on my Xbox One X, just because I wanted a little bit of better graphic fidelity. And honestly, man, it was a little bit better on the X as far as like just frame rate, and obviously like it looked better than it's going to look streaming. But the latency on Google's end, they did it the best. It's just that there's just not games there. So it's just so funny that Google probably had the best like streaming experience, like streaming games for me, but the content just was not in existence yet. And they got rid of their gaming division that was actually making their own in-house game. So I don't think Stadia is going to be around much longer.
Yeah, man, it's a hard industry to get in. It's extremely competitive. And then you have to also throw in it's extremely competitive and it's expensive. So you not only have to be big and like really good. And it can't, and that's the thing. We as gamers in 2020, we are spoiled. I was playing Nintendo back when I was but a wee child, and it was zero latency. You know why? Because we weren't streaming. You know what I mean? So we don't have patience. Like if I can't like blow the cartridge and make it work, if I have to do anything outside of that, I'm not doing it. Like I'm out of it.
You are aging us. Yeah, but yes. Mm-hmm. All of that.
Like, it's I'm not doing it. It's the latency thing. I don't think anyone can tolerate it. We don't tolerate latency on Netflix. Like we don't tolerate latency.
That's true.
on YouTube. You don't tolerate it anywhere. So you're gonna bring gaming, something where, you know, we're talking you know, reflexes and, you know, that fast-paced content. If you glitch, you die, you mess up. Like, I play Final Fantasy 14. Yeah, the dude that enters the dungeon with us that's having internet problems, getting kicked off the party. Sorry. Like, you're of no use to us. What are you doing here? And it used to be like a big thing back in the day, like, 'cause Final Fantasy, it came out on the PlayStation 3 for a little while. It had some support for it. So there are people playing on 4s and 3s and PCs. And yeah, if you were one of the people on a 3, like, and it took you like 8 minutes for the next screen to load, like, we're like, yo, you gotta go. Like, what are you playing? That's like the first question they'd ask you. So yeah, man, it's serious. It's serious. I don't think people are gonna have the patience for it. I think that you know, we need to look at what 5G does. If 5G promises, if 5G delivers on the promise that it's been making, that it's just the next best thing, like it really is like that good, then streaming's going to take over.
Yeah, I agree.
I still don't think it's going to take over on triple A stuff. I think we're still going to be rocking out with consoles for a while, but yeah, streaming's going to become like a big deal, I think.
Yeah, if streaming gets a down pat and 5G really like picks up and we're able to get better than what we're getting plugged in, like they're claiming right now, 5G, I could definitely see like an Xbox or a PlayStation streaming stick, and that's all you have like is the base level. And that's kind of like what the new Xbox Series S is kind of like. Basically, it's like it's a really tiny machine. I don't know if you've seen one in person. They're like, it's crazy to see how small that box is. But yeah, I definitely see that happening. Hopefully 5G does kick off and, you know, folks are able to do that, especially folks that are like I said earlier, in the Midwest, where they don't have the infrastructure really, or they're on like metered internet where you're paying per gig. Like if I had to pay per gig for internet, like I probably wouldn't be able to afford my house. With just the way that I move. So,
it's a public utility. We're not a political podcast, but it's a public utility. So get it together.
Yeah, big facts. Big facts.
So, on the last note with that, another positive, because I don't want to bash streaming. Another positive experience I've had with streaming was PlayStation, on my PlayStation 4 and on my PlayStation 5. I did do remote play, which is kind of like streaming, which I think is the most genius way to kind of corner the market. Make your streaming, your remote play app like the best it can be, and we're streaming the video game directly from home. So, and again, when I did it, my PlayStation's obviously plugged in to my router, and wherever I'm, you know, using my iPad along with the controller. So it feels like a console experience. I got a PS4 controller with my iPad, and I'm playing my PlayStation remotely. I actually did it at your house one time. I was playing Sonic. That's cool. That's cool. So, but you have to have good internet, and that's what we're waiting on.
Yeah, definitely an exciting future that we got ahead of us.
Yeah, man.